Hey everyone, back again with another video. Now, Saturday, we had a great event. Misfits 4, it absolutely lived up to my expectations and more. I thought it was a great night, filled with great fights, great entertainment. What can I say? We had Elle Brooke versus Faith Ordway. The girls put on a monster of a show. Elle Brooke looks dangerous, and from what I've heard, there were no haters watching that fight, only fans. So, I'm hyped for her. I'm really excited to see who she fights next. Maybe a Fangs fight. I know that her opponent pulled out on her. I would love to see Fangs get a shot at this, in this scene. We had Pineda, the mystery opponent. That shocked me to my core. I could not believe it when I saw that man walking out with the mariachi band playing behind him. It was amazing. It was amazing. And shout out to Misfits for keeping it a secret, because I honestly wholeheartedly thought it was Alex Wasabi. So, fair play to them. We had Papi versus Josh Brueckner. Another video will be coming out separate to this one, breaking that fight down. But that was a great fight, maybe fight of the night for me. And then we had our main event. Well, we also had Swarms. Swarms the GOAT. He potentially broke Ryan Taylor's orbital bone. Nasty injury. Even if it's true, then that brings a new danger to Swarms and a new status to his name. If he can nail people like that with just a jab, break their bones, damn, that is special. That is special. Okay, so main event, we had KSI, Faze Temperrr, the replacement opponent for Dylan Dennis. Dildo Drain Piss, as I like to call him. Now, Temperrr, I said in the lead up, would be a more dangerous opponent for KSI, and I think we did see glimpses. Now, Temperrr did go down faster than your girl when I take her for a 3-course meal at the top-rated McDonald's in the area, but I saw some things in KSI's game plan that also worried me for potential fights, and that led me to the question, is KSI ready for Jake? Let's go. Now, we saw KSI come out very confident as always, said he'd up the levels as he always does, and I was left a little skeptical. There's only so many times you can promise a man something and then not really deliver, or deliver something slightly more lackluster than I was expecting. I don't trust KSI anymore when he says, my music's so much better, or my boxing is so much better, or this is better than anything I've ever done before, because I know that all it is a sales tactic. And it's a great one, and KSI's great at it. He's one of the best in the scene. And that's why he gets the money he does, the views he does, the support he does. But don't let it fool you. KSI, in this fight, did not look massively improved to his previous fights. And not that he got to show off much, but from what I did see, some things worried me. Now, KSI, throughout the entirety of the fight, kept his hands, for the most part, pretty low. Almost down directly by his sides, especially leading to the knockout. And we saw, and he did say, to be fair, he'd eat a few shots to come on the inside and land one of his own. But he did eat quite a few, didn't he? I don't know if that was the game plan, or whether he got caught more than he wanted, but it's not a good showing if you're claiming to have upped the levels and you're still getting caught by someone that most people wouldn't consider a top level of opponent. Do I think that a Jake could capitalise on these low hands of JJ? Yes. Do I think that KSI could succumb to a Jake counter as KSI comes on the inside very quick as he likes to do? Yes. Yes, I do. What we saw from KSI was I think it was a great improvement of footwork and distance and IQ of what to throw and when, but I really struggled with his defensive capabilities. Not that Temperrr was given much out to defend against, but when he did, KSI was still getting caught. He was getting caught on the inside, he was getting caught on the outside, and Temperrr's a taller fighter and JJ should be caught on the outside, but getting caught on the inside a lot, that's not very good. That's not very good. And we saw that when KSI was coming in, he was getting caught. And that's not very good. Because what did we see when Jake fought someone who came in very quick? Well, it was Nate Robinson. And he got flatlined. Now, JJ's not Nate. He's not going to come in, you know, head down like that. But KSI's technique is not very conventional. He's not coming in like this, that's for sure. Throwing stiff combinations. He's not going to do that. So do I think that JJ, if he continues with this style of keeping his hands low and coming in very quick to land that shot, do I think he stands a chance of being countered very heavily by Jake and maybe losing, getting knocked out? Yeah, I do. And it worries me that I'm saying that, but yes, I'm really worried about JJ and his defensive responsibility in that fight. Just to break down the knockout, we'll watch the footage back. JJ starts off and he baits Temperrr in. It's very nice, and I'll explain what he's doing. But he throws this from the hip. Yeah, back and forth, lifting the jab hand up, the lead hand. And it's doing a multitude of things. It's measuring, for KSI, it's measuring his distance from Temperrr. Yeah, so if I'm doing that, I know that if you're not on the end of this, then you're out of range. Now, that's not always true, because if I lean in whilst I jab, now suddenly you are in range. Now you're not, now you are, and all I've done is lean my body forwards. Yeah, and I can follow up the right, and I can touch you easily. But that's not really what KSI was doing. Yes, he was measuring up, but he didn't throw the jab. He didn't throw that jab. He feinted to the body with it. He feinted to the body with the jab, and he came up with a straight right. And the straight right was beautiful, but it was thrown again from the hip. His hand wasn't up here, he wasn't doing this. He wasn't doing this, it was like he was breakdancing. And if I'm Jake watching that, which we all know that he was, but if I'm Jake watching that, then I'm thinking, that's a perfect counter punch right there, either side, because KSI followed that straight right up, and the left hand was very low, and he followed it up with a looping hook. It looked slightly sloppy, and it came from the hip. Now, that worries me. The left hand low as he's coming in really, really worries me. Why? Well, we know what Jake likes to throw, and it's that big overhand right. And if he lands that on KSI, who's coming in like that, with the straight jab, straight right, sorry, doing that, and Jake counters in with a massive overhand right, that's only leading to one thing, and that's KSI on the canvas. That is KSI on the canvas. But there is an inverse to what KSI was doing here. That movement was a great way of lulling Temperrr in to a false sense of security, because whilst that is finding range for KSI, it's also telling his opponent, you're safe, you are not in range of my shots. That is no way going to throw up, oh my god, he's gonna hit me, to Temperrr. So Temperrr is a bit more defensively relaxed. In boxing, you don't want to be like that all the time, because it expends energy to keep your hands up. So naturally your hands are going to drop a little lower and then come up when you're in danger. So they drop a little lower when your opponent's away, and they come up to be defensively responsible when they do come in. Yeah? Drop, out of range, come in, fire exchanges, keep them tight, back to the head. Answer the phone, as they call it. Now, what JJ did was he disguised it. So it's a rangefinder for JJ, but Temperrr's thinking, well, I'm seeing right now that he's not in range. He's not in range, I'm safe. So he relaxes a little bit, and just when he's on that slight complacency, KSI comes in with that right straight, and it lands, and what KSI does is he closes the distance very quick. So you're here, let's say you are Temperrr, I am KSI. So I'm baiting you in. Out of range, no way I can hit you. Suddenly, I come in. Suddenly I burst in, and I land a straight, and I follow it up with the left. And the straight right knocked Temperrr's head into the path of the left. And that was a great combination, because it snapped his jaw. And for those who don't know what knocking out is, it is when the brain bounces against the skull. Your brain is suspended in cerebral fluid that allows it to move around. If it impacts the skull wall too hard, then it can cause, well, it causes a knockout, but it also can cause concussion. I believe they call it a coup counter coup when it hits and then comes forward and hits with significant force. So if that's what it looked like a coup counter coup, where it hit him and then he hit him that way. So the brain is now in free state. So you've hit the head that way. Your brain's still here. So your brain's sloshed that way. Because your head's come this way, your brain's naturally, Newtonian physics, has come this way. Then you respond with that punch. And now your brain from that way is very quickly gone to that way. So you've gone, and that is what will knock you out. And we saw it did. Well, it knocked him down. I think for 1 or 2 seconds there, Temperrr was actually out. We saw him try to get to the feet, nothing doing, end of the fight. But it was a great disguise. It was a great disguise. Oh yeah, sense of security, just lulling you in. When I'm ready, bang, in I come. Bang! And it was a great combination. And Temperrr fell for it. Hook, line and sinker. Fell for it. Will it work against someone who can take a punch better than Temperrr? Because like I said, Slim was able to do the same to Temperrr, but not able to do the same to Tom Zanetti. Do I think that Tom Zanetti is technically as good as Temperrr? No. So that must mean that Zanetti has a better chin than Temperrr. Yeah, I think we can all agree on that. So, if Temperrr is a little bit chinny, okay? Do I think that when KSI fights an opponent who has a better chin, like, let's say, a Jake Paul, who we've seen be hit by a Tyron Woodley overhand monster, will Jake be able to weather that? I don't know. I have to say I don't know. Both of them, we know now, both of them have the power to knock people out with 1 or 2 punches. Both of them are able to knock people out. So there's that worry when they do fight on both sides that this guy is a threat to me. It's just a question of who is a bigger threat to whom right now. And I think that Jake is a bigger threat to KSI based on who he's fought compared to who KSI's fought. And if KSI does come in with his hands low and he tries that Michael Venom Page style against Jake, I think it could really work out into a bad meeting for KSI. Because styles make fights, and I'm not sure that is the style to go in and beat Jake with. Equally, I could be wrong, and it could completely throw Jake off, and KSI lulls Jake into a false sense of security and then bang, hits him with an uppercut or something, knocks him dead. It could be, but I think that if KSI can keep that explosiveness whilst being defensively responsible, keeping the hands up, better defence. Now again, we only saw him in 1 round, so maybe if the fight went on we'd see a more evolved defensive fighter out of JJ, but I don't know. And the video that he posted after didn't give me hope, because he said, oh, my technique and all this, and he said, fuck technique, I'm doing what I'm doing. And yeah, okay, you're knocking people out, you can't complain against that. But we saw that when a Deontay Wilder got in there with a Tyson Fury, and now I'm making very big leaps in comparison. KSI is not on Deontay Wilder's level, and Jake Paul is not on Tyson Fury's level. But we saw that when a boxer got in there with a brawler, the boxer won. And Jake has proved that his boxing technique, at least, is much more crisp than JJ's. That doesn't mean that he's going to win. Of course, we've seen Deontay Wilder go out there with, 40 plus guys, knock 40 plus guys out. So it doesn't mean that he's going to win. But when JJ's not being as defensively responsible as I know that he can be, and I know that he should be, it worries me. It does worry me. And I have to say, keeping the hands low, despite your quick speed, but keeping your hands low, you come in and Jake lands something, force on force, it could really spell disaster for you, mate. And you won't watch this, but I am worried, man. And I don't want to see you lose, because as much as I like you, I fucking hate Jake even more. I think he's such a scumbag, and I can't believe that people actually give him well, he deserves props for what he does in the boxing ring, but he doesn't deserve everything excused off the back of that. The man's been a wanker. He's been caught multiple times scamming his child audience. And if we're talking about it, boxing is the only thing that's keeping him going at the moment, because if he didn't have that, I don't know what he would be doing, because nobody wants to watch him on YouTube, his music fell off, and other than boxing he doesn't have anything else. So he could be a great businessman, but right now this is the only thing keeping him relevant in the public's eyes. And that's what Jake wants more than anything. More than the money, more than everything, he wants the attention. He wants the admiration. That's what Jake wants. And he's on a great path to get it. So, the answer to the question, is KSI ready for Jake Paul? From my heart of hearts, no, not yet. I need to see him against one, maybe two more elite level guys in the boxing scene. In the YouTube boxing scene, not boxing as a whole, but the YouTube boxing scene. He needs to be up against two other elite fighters. MMA fighters, upper echelon boxers who are YouTubers, influencers, I don't care. And Idris Virgo, I know they go to the same gym. I think he'd be a great sparring partner for KSI. You know, Idris looked very good. Obviously Anthony Taylor, you know, but Anthony Taylor trains with Jake Paul, so it'd be a great level to know where JJ's at. If JJ can work the guy who absolutely put work on Anthony Taylor, then that gives him a pretty good indication of what he could do against Jake Paul. Now, Jake Paul's not the same fighter he was when he fought Anthony Taylor and sparred against him. But, at least it's a level where you can say, okay, well, this guy fought against Jake's former sparring partner, and I am doing better than Jake's former sparring partner, so therefore I know that I must be on a comparable level to Jake. That's going to be it from me. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a like if you did, please subscribe if you really want to, and comment down below anything else you'd like to see from me. Till next time, see you later.